Hey guys, what's going on? I'm out here with the truck again today, and since I've got the opportunity, I'm going to show you a little bit about the hood hinges and some specifics on them. How they're supposed to be mounted and why, and how to get them off, and just some shit like that. So bear with me. See, I don't have my hood on it right now, and the hinges are just hanging. Now, if you look at the cowl itself, you'll see there's not a flat spot on it anywhere except maybe in the very center. It'll be flat. Everything else has got a curve to it, okay? So if you think about a radius and then another radius piece coming off of it, i.e. the hood, when you open the hood, you're going to make those radiuses, or radii, oppose each other. So the hinges cannot actually be flat if you think about it. Now, you might take a hinge and lay it on a piece of wood or something, or a table, even a hella flat piece of granite, and it may seem flat. Let me show you something. They're not. When you open the hinges, I don't know if you can see that already or not, but you see that? It has a built-in angle to it. Okay, now, if we look at this one, we flip it back. Also got a built-in angle. What is the problem we see here? The angles are going the same way. So when I took that hinge off to repair some shit up there, there was a crack in the cowl under it. Actually, I had to weld up. And I put the hinge back on. I put it back on wrong, and I didn't realize it until now, sitting back here looking at everything took apart. Now let me show you what that does, and we'll walk over to this other truck. I have never had the hood hinges off of this truck, okay? I've had the hood off. I had to do some straightening to it. But I've never had the hinges off. So right away, you'll see the giant ass gap on this side. And you'll see that it actually lifts the hood up enough to stick your fingers under it, between it and the cowl. Now, if we go on the other side, we'll see kind of the same thing. It's not as bad on this side, but you still have a giant gap that shouldn't be right here. Okay, so how do we orient the hinges? You see, the rivet is the only way to properly orient the hinges, okay? On this, that rivet is facing towards the driver's side, and this one is facing towards the passenger side. So they're opposed to each other. Now let's go back to the other truck, my truck. When you look at mine, we take into account the angle that's built into the hinge, and we look at the rivet. Where's the head of the rivet? It's pointing in towards the truck, and that gives us the right angle on the hinge, facing slightly that way if it was standing up, to account for the radius of the hood. Now if we look at my other one, it's not properly installed. The head of the rivet is facing out. So to properly install your hood hinges so they keep your hood aligned, the rivet heads should both be facing inwards toward the center of the truck. Okay, so we've covered that. Now let's look at the cowl itself around the hinges. Sometimes you'll notice, and I had to straighten this, that over time the hood hinges will actually push the sheet metal down and leave a dent, and like I said, mine actually ended up cracking the cowl. And if we look on the other side, it's still see the low spot here? It should be flat like this. It's flat all the way along, and right where the hinge is, it's pushed it down. And then down at the back, I'm not sure if you can see that on camera, but it's actually sunk in there too. So what we do is we go on the inside with the hinge removed, and we take a small hammer and dolly, or a small ball peen, or whatever you've got, and we carefully, slowly knock it back up into place. Now, a gentleman the other day was asking me about accessing bolts to the hood hinges without taking the dash apart. So you can do it. Now I've already got my dash out, so I can't show you exactly like where I would stick my hand, but on the passenger side, you do have to take the glove box out. It's not a big deal. It's just a bunch of Phillips screws around it, and the inside pulls out. Then you get up in here, and you know, I use stainless bolts on mine. You'll want to hold a back up and then just reach out through your windshield here. You can do this while you're sitting on the seat. And I use an air ratchet and a wrench and just pull that one off. Now this other one, on the other side, if you look up in there, you can see it's not nearly as easy. But you would, and I have, be able to go with a 1/4-inch air ratchet and an extension from down below up through this hole in the support bracket, and a socket and a universal wobble, as some people call it, and you'll be able to get up on the nuts on the back side of the hinge there, and then you just put your wrench on the outside for a backup, and you run the ratchet below. Now it may seem difficult, but it really isn't when you get down to it. You just have to be patient. And actually, you'll have a lot easier time with it if your truck doesn't have a heater installed and you don't have this ducting in your way. So, like mine, it has the heater installed. I have a stereo that sits right here. That's what a lot of this wiring is for and everything. And I still don't have a problem getting to it. So, if I can do it, you can do it. Now, sometimes these hinges will get wear in them. And that's okay, just as long as you can't, you know, it doesn't feel like it's going to come off. Like, if you've got 1/8 of an inch of movement, that is fine. It needs some kind of slack so you don't crack sheet metal and stuff when you're opening and closing the hood. If it doesn't have room to move, then it's going to make something else move that shouldn't. When you have an unacceptable amount of wear is when you're running down the highway and you're watching this piece jump up and down, you know, 1/4 or more of an inch, and it's rattling. That's a problem. People have cut off these rivets, driven them out, or drilled them out and replaced them with bolts and nuts or pins. I haven't had any real good success with that, but if you think you can do it and you want to give it a shot, don't let me discourage you. You know, do what you got to do. You will never get these not to rust. I don't care what you do. Even if you put a stainless bolt in there, they're gonna rust. So that's just part of it. Okay, it's gonna happen whether you like it or not. And I wish there was something I could do about it. And you know what? If you know something that you could do about it, let me know. But I can't think of anything you could put in there to coat it with that would keep it from rusting after a little bit of wear from opening and closing the... I don't know. Maybe if you live in a desert where there's no moisture, but not here in Louisiana. I think that is just about all I wanted to show you. As far as the hardware, I replaced it, like I said, with stainless 1/4-inch nuts and bolts, nylock nuts. Usually use stainless washers. I don't think I had any when I changed these hinges last. So, and yes, I have replaced both of those hinges back when I first got this truck in 2013 or 2014. So yeah, that's about it. I mean, you know, make sure that you have... Okay, I dropped them down there. You see those reinforcement plates? Those go underneath the hinges on the inside of the cowl, and the same thing on the hood. They go underneath. You can make some copies of those plates for reinforcement and put them on top, like between the hinge and the cowl up there, to keep them from beating the cowl down later. And if your hood isn't straight, well, straight is a relative term when you're talking about a radiused object, but if you can see that your radius comes along and then where the hinge is, it like flattens out, and then on the other side it goes up, or it goes... You can take the time to like put a piece of block wood under that, on the ground and step on either side of it to straighten it out. Once again, relative term, because you don't want to have to take the hood off multiple times. And actually, if you got a good eye, you can see what I'm talking about right here. I just got a little bit of a bend in it. So just keep an eye out for this stuff, guys. I'm working on this thing. I got to do a bunch more sanding and stuff today, and try to get some primer on this thing before it rains again. We're supposed to have a few days without rain for a change, so lots and lots to do. Thanks for watching, guys. If you could please like the video if you found it helpful. Subscribe if you haven't already. Would love to have you hang out and, you know, come along for the rest of my ventures. And thank you for watching. We'll see you later.